Well, I started Oakwood in my attic in 2001 in Nicholasville, and we grew out of that space, and now we're in this space. We've been in this space for about 4 years, and we really love it here. It's built like a lot of the major commercial facilities are built, double wall construction, all the acoustic design and things like that. Properly soffit mounted speakers, which is something that not a lot of studios have. But it doesn't have that big open feel, you know, where you feel like people are just buzzing all around you and you can't focus on your music. Artists always tell us that they like it a lot better than going to a massive studio, because they really feel like they can create here and focus on what they're doing. And of course they enjoy the relationship with us as well. We do a lot of singer-songwriter work. I think singer-songwriters, they just feel very comfortable here. And a lot of them need help because they don't have bands. So a lot of them need assistance with coming up with additional parts and things like that, which we're really good at. Donovan Davis, our in-house producer, he does a great job consulting with artists and brainstorming with them about, you know, should we add a piano here? Should we have an organ here? You know, do you want drums or something more subdued? Or, you know, just kind of going through the options with them a little bit. And then as the chief engineer, I focus mostly on the sound, and there's so many options, obviously, when it comes to mixing. You know, do they want to keep it, you know, sort of earthy and you know, not quite as high production or whatever, or do they want, you know, 100 tracks of stacked guitars and effects and stuff like that? So we provide a lot of options. You know, we serve a lot of different kinds of people that kind of all over the board, you know, in terms of their purposes for the recording and things like that. We've done a lot of work with bands as well. I think bands really enjoy the fact that, you know, once we define what our roles are, you know, we don't have to have all the creative input that we might with the singer-songwriter, because bands, for the most part, have already figured out the arrangement before they get here. So we're very happy to play the role of, you know, mostly the engineering role, not so much, you know, the creative aspects of a producer. And just, you know, advise them more along the lines of sound and, you know, comparing to some of their influences. We always want to hear, you know, about a client's influences so that we know what to go and listen to, so we know what they're kind of pulling from, because everybody pulls from something, you know, whether they know it or not. And so we're very good about taking their influences and then helping them create something unique that is their sound. You know, we already have this artist, we already have this band. You don't need to sound exactly like them. Let's pull from that, make it sound like you know. So I think that's something a lot of people enjoy. I think one of the things that make us unique here locally is that we offer a sound quality that's very, very comparable to some of the large studios that they could go to in Nashville or New York, Los Angeles, Austin, wherever. Of course, we're not near the cost. People can avoid travel expenses, you know, and lodging and all that kinds of thing, but still get the sound. It'll sound like they went to a big studio. So I think that's one thing that makes us unique. I think the other thing, and I'm not saying that other studios don't care about their clients at all, but we really care about artists here at Oakwood Recording Studios. That's our #1 priority, is to help them preserve their artistic integrity and yet discover what's really possible within their genre and within their sound. One of the things that I think we really focus on here is becoming as affordable as possible and staying as affordable as possible, just in being efficient about things. You know, we're not going to sit around and goof off, and, you know, we're here to work. We have fun, obviously, and we keep the mood light, but we're here to get to work and get songs done and get mixes sounding great as soon as possible. So that obviously helps people a lot. Something else we do is with our pricing system. Rather than just setting a price per hour no matter who's doing it, we have a tiered rate system to where certain personnel we don't charge as much for, and so that often saves people actually quite a bit of money. Some of the best tips that we can give to a band or an artist before they come to Oakwood is, they need to rehearse their songs to a click. A click is a metronome. If you don't own a metronome, buy one. I promise you it will save you tons of money in the studio when it comes time to record. A lot of times artists aren't aware of how much tighter they could be. And playing with the click, man, just really gets people locked in all the time. People will come in or will sit in on a rehearsal or something like that and tell them this, and they'll come back in a month later after practicing 3 nights a week with the click, and it's like listening to a whole different group. Number 2, if a band or artist wants help with their arrangements, we ask them to come in and do some scratch tracks. This is just real quick. We don't use much studio time for it. At the end of the day, if they want our input on the arrangement or the key or the tempo or any of that kind of thing, we like to do scratch tracks. So then we can just think about it in our off time without burning up expensive studio time doing it. So the last tip I have is, I just want to make sure everybody understands, here at Oakwood, you don't have to pay for your project all up front. And we don't make you take 2 or 3 weeks of vacation time out of your job to do it. We let people pay as they go, and we're very flexible with the scheduling. Somebody can only come in 1 day a week or 2 days a week. That's fine. We'll just go at that pace until they get their project finished. People have done this a lot. That also gives us the opportunity to throw it up on Dropbox or some other kind of service and listen to it in between sessions. And so I feel like we actually make more efficient use of studio time rather than just the bulldozer method where you just try to plow through everything, in a week or 2.